A couple of examples of projects that we as Ascertia and where I've previously been from have been involved in, where you kind of run a proof of concept for, in this case, an international law enforcement agency that wanted to digitize the process for moving evidence to support the extradition of people from one country to another. And at the time, it was probably 7 years ago, prior to the new European remote signing legislation being in place, and actually the barrier there was the use of local credentialed smart cards, because the barrier was installing stuff on machines that the law enforcement agency didn't own. So once you kind of take that off the table and you move to remote authorized signing, you can provide high levels of assurance, you can guarantee the individual who's signing is who they claim to be, and I don't think there are any excuses left. The technology and standards have matured to a point where the traditional barriers of I've got to sign using my national identity card are actually starting to erode, because national schemes are now seeing the piece of plastic, the piece of polycarbonate, actually being a barrier to them entering into some of these use cases. And so many people, when you look at national schemes that are coming up for retender or are new projects being initiated, yes, you've got your national identity card, which proves to local law enforcement your identity, but then they've got that link to a remote authorized signing credential that gives them that flexibility. So I think there's very, very few excuses not to be digitizing these processes, other than, I won't name the organization, but we still do come across people, a global financial clearinghouse, who sees remote authorized signing as being insecure, and they're based on the other side of the Atlantic. So there are some different views on European standards, I should say, that people might challenge outside of the EU. You've only got to look to Australia and New Zealand, where we're talking primarily about digital signatures, but on the machine readable travel document front, both countries are trialing a digitized passport that's in part of the secure enclave on your mobile phone. So countries are now already beginning to make the advances away from the traditional paper for your passport into the digital world on mobile. So as Sam says, being able to digitize something from 100 years ago is something of a challenge. It's doable so long as you use documents and signatures that can be preserved long term. But there's lots of evidence of high trust paper-based or physical documents that are now transitioning into that digital world, and because the technology and the standards have evolved to the point where we can do that, you'll start seeing there's standards that exist for electronic driver's license, national ID. You just need a secure container, ergo the enclave on the mobile phone, to be able to support that.